Hello everybody, welcome back to the garage. I want to give a shout out to Squatch253 YouTube channel. He's the one that gave me this idea, and what we're gonna be doing today is installing cap lights or clearing lights, and they're up there. Basically, we're going to do the install as close as possible, or if not exactly how it came from factory. This is my 2014 F250 XLT with a 6.2 liter. I name it Jester the truck, as some of you would know. And here is the part number for the lamps or the lights on top of the cab. And if you're curious, for me, 5 of them was 6220. And I'm going to talk about each step that I took or how I did the install. So stay tuned. Obviously, the first step is to disconnect the battery. Make sure you put something in between the terminal and the cable. Then you gotta remove the sun visors. They use a Torx 20. Next is the A pillar. You gotta use a small screwdriver to get the caps off. And then you'll have to use a 7mm socket. One thing I'll mention is that don't unscrew the bolt completely because it has a retainer behind it. So the bolt will stay with the trim. Next, you gotta remove the top portion of the weather strip. Just lay it on the seat. Next is open the sun visor holders. Just grab it from the left corner here and just pull straight down. It won't clip just like so. And then disconnect the cable for the light. Next is removing this caps for the B pillar bolts, or the B pillar bolt for trim. Then using a trim tool, just remove that cover. Remove the bolt for the seat belt. The bolt will stay on the seat belt. Then again, a 7mm socket, remove those bolts. For the seat belt, I think it's a Torx 50. Just pull straight out on the trim here. Same thing on the driver's side. Both sides is the same way. Then carefully just pull down on the headliner. It won't damage it, and no creases would happen. So you do on both sides. You only need to push it down just a little bit, just to have access to the leading edge of the roof. That plastic tray in there in the middle, it only takes 2 Phillips screws. You'll have to remove that. It's pretty easy to remove too. All right, so I put the templates on, and I made this little drawing that I will explain. So basically, from the weather strip to the center of the first light is 3 inches and 3/8. So from here to here, it's 8 inches and 3/8. And then from the bottom of the weather strip to the front of the light is 3.5 inches. So from here to here is 3.5 inches. Then that's for the corner light. And then from the corner light to the second light, from driver side to passenger side, that will be 12 inches and 3/4. Same thing, 3.5 inches from the weather strip to the front of the light. And then the spacing from the middle of the light to the middle light, or the third light, it is 7 inches 7/8. Same thing, 3.5 inches from the weather strip or the border of the windshield to the center of the light. So same distance between the 3 lights, and then over here is the same distance from right here. These 2 spaces are the same. So those are 12 inches and 3/4, 12 inches and 3/4. And then again, it repeats on the corner there, 8 inches and 3/8. And now it's time to drill. All right, here is the process now. The middle hole, it's 1 inch, and then 1/4 for the corner. It's all done. So this is how it's gonna look. But first, before putting the lights, I'm gonna use a little bit of Pour 15. It's a rust preventative, and it's gonna go on the bare metal. And then once it dries up, the lights are gonna just drop in, just like that. And following Squatch 253 YouTube channel advice, you could it's right. If you put a towel in a magnetic tray like this, it will catch all the fallings when you're drilling up there. It's the next day. Today we are gonna finish doing this. Basically, here's the harness that connects to the airbags, and this is the same harness that will connect to the lights. And if you have a satellite antenna, this is the harness. It's called the accessory feed wire. So we have to take this off, and then we gotta clean this up a little bit here, over there as well. So to remove the plug, which is the end of the harness here, to remove this plug, it's pretty easy. You just gotta grab a small screwdriver or a toothpick and pull this orange tab. This will be like this, and then just pull out. We just gotta remove this retainer clip, and then they are all throughout the harness. There's one there, and it keeps going. So we gotta remove those all the way down. And then same thing for the other plug for the side airbag on the driver's side. So before I remove the harness, I'm gonna mark on this harness where the lights will go with tape, and then so it'll give me an idea where the connectors will go on this harness. So to remove one of these retainer clips, you grab your tool and then you put it in there. This is the easiest way to do it. And you just pry. And that's it. Alright, so the harness is removed. Here's the portion that goes on the A-pillar. And here's the rest of the harness. Now I'm going to show you where you got to go to remove the bottom portion there. Alright, so you go under the dash here. Hopefully the light's pretty good. And you have brake pedal right here. Here's your harness that goes through the firewall. And then there's this plug here. I don't have a satellite antenna, but if you did, there would be an orange connector or yellow connector somewhere in over here. So basically you got to reach back here behind this plug, and then there is this one right here. This is the harness, the accessory feet harness. So that's it, and now we just got to pull it up, and here it is. Just pull it out from over here, and here's the harness. All right, so basically I'm gonna go now to the bench and I'll show you what we're gonna do next. And here's the wire harness that I was able to get at the junkyard. Mainly the only thing I was after is these pigtails, because these pigtails, I mean, it's a 3 lead plug, but in reality for these lights they'll only use the corner leads for the lights. But this pigtail by itself is super expensive, and so for what I needed, this one will work, because I just needed a harness with the 2 cables and this 5 pigtails for the 5 lights. And so basically what's interesting is this is from a 2003, and the partial part number in the middle, the 15A404, it is the same for across all Super Duties, which is very interesting. But yeah, let me show you. This is what I did. I'm gonna take the pins or the cables off this plug, and I'll show you how I did that. Oh, hello there. I didn't see you there. All right, welcome to the bench. Here we are on the bench. This is the harness for the lights. I'm still in Butler's idea. Mrs. Colazo is behind the camera. Thank you, Mrs. Colazo. So this harness here is for the lights, and basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna put these two together. The harness that would have come with the truck, if the truck would have had the cap lights, it would have had this already included. As you can tell, this one is the one that we just pull off, and it's skinny because it only has the cables for the side airbags. So I marked the location to where the connectors for the lights will be with blue tape, and I already cut pre-cut 5 different small pieces of tape. We are just gonna temporarily put them together like so. That's the first one. This is for the passenger side corner light, like this. So now the harness where the blue tape, the connectors are pretty good where they should be. And then now, basically, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make this one. All right, so we're gonna make this one with Tessa tape. Thank you to Mrs. Colazo for holding the harness.
You're welcome.
poquito de ahí. This is why you have to have a partner in the garage. Because Mrs. Colosso brought up the idea. Let me get some scissors, because it will be a lot easier. So there you go. Pro tip for doing things in the garage. You want to hold this here. All right. Now let me see some real quick. Okay, you just go cut it right there. So we have some leftover cable, right? So the cable we have, it's too long. So I'm gonna cut it right here. There. And so now, this is what we're gonna do. The pins for the lights for these two cables, which is positive and negative. You'll look at the diagram, but I'll show you here in a minute. But one of these cables will go in this hole here, and the other one will go on the other side, which is that one. So that's what we're gonna do right now. All right, guys. Here's the wiring diagram, and as you can see, it shows the roof marker lamps. You got 5 there. Yellow is the positive, and it goes to plug C913. And then there's the negative. And it will go to C913 right here. So this is basically what we're doing. We're just putting those two cables into the harness. These connectors here, about $25 each. So I'm sure that's why Ford decided to make 3 different harnesses. Here is the plug C913. And so pin number 1 is that yellow green. That's the positive. So number 1 is the positive for the lights. And then pin 16, if we go back, it tells us CBP40 is positive. CBP40, so pin number 1, and then negative is GD137. That'll be negative GD137, so number 6. That's what we're gonna do now. All right, so we make the 2 harnesses. The one for the lights that we found at the junkyard, we made it into one. And here are the 2 cables. We cut off the end, which is this one. These pins will not work. They're different kind of pins, and it's a bit longer also. So we cut these off, and now I think I'm gonna cut it off right here and make the connection with these. So I'm gonna put these pins first, and then we'll measure how much wire we'll need. Clicked. All right, so we have our 2 terminals for negative and positive in there. We're gonna close the this plastic retainer there, so the pins don't come off, to secure them. And now we have to measure. So I think I'm gonna do this real quick right here. Now this old harness from the 03, I got a black and a brown, so I'm gonna use black for ground and brown. That in And the harness that would have come with the truck, if the truck would have been ordered with lights, the positive, like I show you on the diagram, would have been yellow and green. Good. So now, just gotta put the shrink troop over it, like so. And that's pretty good. There we go. All right, so now we are going to do the negative, which is this one right here. Okay. So now I'm gonna heat shrink the stuff. There we go. So now, one thing we could do, we could either leave it like this because we need some flexibility. And I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. One thing I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna put a little bit of Tessa tape so that holds this together. Let's do it real quick. There we go. All right. So we've successfully completed the harness. We integrate it into the stock one. We put the pins where they go, and this is the end result. Just like this. This goes on the 8-pillar. This is for the airbag. They're the plugs for the lights. Keeps going all the way to the passenger side, and this is for the airbag. So now we just gotta put it back in the truck. All right, the harness in. It's all the way over there. Now you got the leads or the connectors for the lights. It goes over here, all the way there, and goes down. And now we gotta connect the bottom. And here it is. So now let's get it routed. Back in here. Clicked. All right, that's it. All right, so the pour 15 is dry, and we cleaned the holes on the bottom, metal filings and stuff, so it's all flush. It's all done. Now the last step is to grab them, and they just drop in. Passenger side. There we go. So that's how it's gonna look. Now we're just gonna put the nuts on and the plugs. Here are the nuts. So, I'm gonna go here. Just double check the nuts. Alright, same thing all the way down. All the nuts are on. The only thing left to do is to put this connector in, like so. There we go. And that's it. Now before I put everything back together, everything's plugged in. Airbags are plugged in over there. All that's plugged in. It's plugged in down here. So now we gotta test it real quick. Okay, so I decided not to test the lights while the headlight is down because I'm scared of triggering anything with the airbags. So I'm just going to put everything back together, reverse order, and then I'll test it out. And if it don't work, then we'll figure it out. But the lights are on. I just put the headliner back, and I put the centerpiece right here back. So the next thing, if I remember correctly, is the B pillars. So the trim, seat belt, weather strip, and A pillars. And that should be it. All right. And just like that, the truck is put back together all the way around. Now it's time to plug in the battery and see if the lights will work or not. Now let's check it out. All right, moment of truth. Here we plug in the battery. Well, look at that. All right, so the lights should turn on when I hit unlock on the key fob. So see if they turn on. Here we go. Well, they do work. That's a relief. Okay, let me lock it. There we go. Okay. All right, now we gotta just check the airbag light, see if it clears up. All right, we're in the truck. Let's see if airbag light comes on or not. So there's airbag light. And it went off. Okay, that's good. I'll start it up. All right, that's good. There's no lights, no warning lights on the cluster, so that's good. Okay, so I'm gonna let the truck idle and get to operating temperature, and then I'm gonna let it so that it would do the throttle body relearn procedure. But let's turn on all the lights there and let's go outside and see. Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, the lights are on. I'm just gonna wait until the throttle relearn procedure ends, and I'm gonna reverse and check it out on the outside. All right, so that's how you put the lights on a, I would say 11 to 14, because 15 and 16 is the same procedure, but the harness is different. With that plug, the C913 plug is different, but you could probably do the same thing, because I believe that the 15s and 16s that don't come with the lights, it's basically the same thing where the pins for the two lights are missing. So you technically could do the same thing. You could probably get the harness of a 03 and above, or even I think a 2002 is the same, but I know for a fact 2003 and above to all the way to 2016 are the same connectors and same lamps on the roof. Anyway guys, I think this is it. This is a wrap up for this video. Until then, I'll see you next time. So I do have this Zevo Sylvania super bright LED. It does say for off-road use only, but I just wonder, I want to try them out, so I'm going to put them here on the passenger side and see and see if there's any difference or not. Let's try it out. Okay, so let me turn off the flashlight. This one has a LED. I don't think the camera will pick it up that well, but it does look better, I'll tell you that. Okay, let's look from the distance. Alright, so the one on the left, it's a LED. So for brightness, I don't think it's any different, but I could tell you the LED looks a little bit darker than the halogen. So that's it. Later, guys.